$2. That is all it takes. $2, and a dead, brown, embarrassing lawn turns into the kind of thick, deep green grass that makes your neighbors stop their cars and stare. And here is the part that should make you furious. This mix has existed for over 100 years. Farmers used it. Railroad workers used it. Old homesteaders used it on land that hadn't seen rain in months. And somehow, right around the time billion-dollar fertilizer companies started building their empires, this $2 trick just disappeared, vanished. Gone from every gardening book, every store shelf conversation, every landscaping advice column. Just gone. And I am going to tell you exactly why that happened. But first, look at your lawn right now. Really look at it. You see those brown patches? Those dry, crunchy, dead-looking sections that no amount of watering seems to fix? You've probably already spent money on it. Bags of fertilizer, lawn treatments, maybe even had a landscaping company come out and charge you $200, $300 to spray something that worked for 3 weeks and then left you right back where you started. That is not an accident. That is a business model. Here is what they never tell you. Your grass is not dead. Most people see brown grass and think it's over, done, too far gone. But in almost every case, the root system is still alive underground, just completely starved and locked out. Locked out of what? That is where this gets interesting. And that is where the $2 mix comes in. But wait, before I show you exactly what this is and exactly how to use it, I need to tell you about a man named Walter Griggs. Because without Walter Griggs, I would never have found this. It was 1923, Dodge City, Kansas. Walter was a soil chemist. One of those quiet, obsessive men who spent more time with dirt samples than with other people. He worked for the railroad, helping them figure out why certain sections of land along the rail lines were dying. The railroad needed green, stable ground to prevent erosion under the tracks. Dead soil meant shifting earth. Shifting earth meant derailments. So this was serious, expensive, life-or-death infrastructure work. Walter spent 2 years testing everything. Commercial treatments, chemical compounds, industrial applications. Nothing lasted. Everything cost a fortune and wore off in weeks. And then one afternoon, completely by accident, he spilled a mixture of 2 common household minerals onto a test patch of dried out Kansas ground. He didn't think anything of it, cleaned it up, forgot about it. 6 days later, that patch was the only green section for 30 feet in every direction. Walter documented it quietly, carefully. He reported it to the railroad, and they quietly used it for years across their land corridors. But here's what happened next. And this is the part that should make you genuinely angry. The agricultural industry was exploding in the 1930s and 40s. Chemical companies were racing to patent fertilizer formulas, grass treatments, soil conditioners. They needed people buying products every season, every single spring, every fall, repeat customers forever. A $2 permanent fix? That cannot be patented. Nobody can own it. Nobody can sell it in a shiny bag with a brand name and charge you $49 a season for it. So it got buried. Not destroyed, buried. Quietly removed from mainstream conversation while expensive, short-term alternatives took over every garden center in America. They didn't hide this because it fails. They hid it because it works too well. Think about that for a second. The entire lawn care industry, worth over $40 billion a year, profits from your lawn looking bad. They profit from repeat treatments. They profit from you calling the same company back every 8 weeks. If your lawn fixed itself permanently, their revenue collapses. So every year, you don't know this, you are paying for their business model with your own money. Your grandmother already knew this. She used it every single day. Not on her lawn specifically, but the core ingredient in this mix was a household staple that older generations kept in the kitchen, the barn, the garden shed without thinking twice. It was just common knowledge, practical, passed down. And then one generation forgot to pass it down because the stores started selling them a replacement in a plastic bottle. Here's where it gets scary. Most homeowners right now are making the damage worse without realizing it. When you water dead-looking grass on compacted, mineral-depleted soil, you're not helping the roots. You're actually sealing the problem deeper. The water sits on top of the compaction layer, creates the illusion of moisture, and then evaporates within hours, while the roots beneath stay completely dry and starved. You're working hard and spending money on your water bill for 0 results, and the lawn stays dead. And eventually, you pay someone to resod, which costs thousands. For a problem, a $2 mix would have solved in one application. Most people never notice this until it's too late. Now let me explain why this mix actually works. Because I want you to understand it, not just use it blindly. At the molecular level, grass roots are surrounded by soil particles that hold nutrients. When soil becomes compacted and depleted, from heat, drought, overwatering, chemical fertilizer overuse, those particles lock together and form a barrier. Nutrients cannot pass through. Water cannot reach the root zone. Oxygen cannot circulate. The grass above starves slowly while you watch it turn brown and assume it's dead. This $2 mix works through a process called ionic exchange and mineral reactivation. The first ingredient breaks the surface tension of that compaction layer, physically loosening the locked soil particles at a microscopic level. The second ingredient floods the now open root zone with the exact mineral combination grass roots absorb most efficiently. The reaction happens fast. Within 24 to 48 hours, the root system begins pulling nutrients again. The cell walls of each grass blade start rebuilding. The green color comes back from the inside out. Not a spray-on surface treatment, not a temporary color boost, but actual biological recovery, permanently. And here's the pattern interrupt that stopped me cold when I first read Walter's original notes. The same ionic mechanism is used in modern sports field restoration, the kind they use to bring back NFL and MLB playing surfaces after heavy damage. Expensive professional-grade restoration using the same fundamental chemistry that costs $2 at a hardware store. They just charge you $50,000 for the labor and the branded product name wrapped around it. One more thing before I give you the exact formula. The landscaping industry spends real money lobbying against certain natural soil treatments being promoted publicly. I am not talking about conspiracy theories. I'm talking about documented industry association funding that goes toward keeping professional treatment as the default answer for every lawn problem. They want you calling a service. They want you buying seasonal bags. They do not want you standing in your driveway with a $2 solution that works better than everything they sell. If you've made it this far, you already know more than 99% of homeowners. Here is the exact mix. You need two things: raw agricultural molasses, the unsulfured kind, not the baking kind from the grocery store, and Epsom salt. That is it. 2 ingredients. Combined total cost, depending on where you buy, $1 to $2 per treatment area. Here's exactly how you do it. For every gallon of water, add 2 tablespoons of Epsom salt and 1 tablespoon of raw molasses. Stir until fully dissolved. Do not use hot water. Room temperature or slightly warm. Pour this into a garden sprayer, not a pressure washer, a simple pump sprayer from any hardware store. Apply it in the early morning or late evening, never in direct midday sun. Walk slowly and evenly over every dead section. You want the soil visibly wet, not flooded. 1 thorough pass is enough. Then leave it. Do not water over it for at least 6 hours. Let it absorb. Here's what you're going to see. Within the first 24 hours, you may notice the soil color darkening slightly. That is the molasses activating microbial life in the root zone. By day 3, look closely at the base of brown grass blades near the soil line. You will see a faint greenish tinge starting at the bottom, working upward. By day 7 to 10, on a lawn that looked completely dead, you will have visible green recovery. On a lawn that was just struggling and patchy, you may see results in 4 to 5 days. Apply once every 3 weeks for 2 months on severely damaged lawns. After that, once a month through the growing season is enough to maintain results. Now here is the final thing. The part I saved because it is the most powerful and almost nobody talks about this. The molasses is not just a soil activator. It feeds the microbial ecosystem underground, the bacteria and fungi that grass roots depend on to process nutrients. Commercial fertilizers, especially nitrogen-heavy synthetic ones, actually kill that microbial ecosystem over time. Every bag of big brand fertilizer you pour on your lawn is slowly destroying the biological infrastructure your grass needs to survive on its own. You get a short green burst, then dependency, then more product, then more dependency. It is the same model as any addiction cycle, and your lawn is the one paying the price. Raw molasses rebuilds what the industry spent decades helping you destroy. Every share of this video keeps alive what the industry tried to erase. Because there are millions of homeowners right now throwing money at dead lawns, paying landscaping companies, reseeding, resodding, when $2 and 1 application could change everything for them permanently. If you want to stop wasting money on industry lies, subscribe and hit the bell. This channel exists for one reason: to bring back the buried knowledge that billion-dollar industries quietly removed from public conversation because they couldn't figure out how to charge you for it. The next secret opens soon.